All right, it's time for this week's Bitcoin analysis. I want to welcome all of you. And I want to begin by saying, of course, that this is not financial advice. Nothing in this video is to be taken as financial advice. I am only, as usual, sharing my personal opinions. And you should know that all investments do carry a lot of risk. With that being said, let's get into it. We're going to begin with the long-term view of Bitcoin. It has been an interesting week, but not a ton of action that maybe some people anticipated. The plunge downwards actually took a halt down here at around 3,500, and it seems like we've gathered some sort of support around the bottoms from back in the fall of 2017 around here at 3,500. So we haven't really touched the area that I laid out here in the previous week, and that depends a bit on which exchange you're looking at. But I did find an interesting pattern here in the trend channel that I've drawn here, where I've simply connected the two peaks here, and this forms a channel where, once again, depending on which exchange you're looking at, they are more or less accurate. When I did the same channel on the Bitcoin futures, the CME futures, this bounce is perfectly in line with the bottom here in the channel. But this is the Coinbase price, and it doesn't really allow that nicely. But it looks like we've found some sort of bottom here for now. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, first of all, we're going to look at the short-term view a little bit, but it's hard to say right now in which way we're going. But then after that, I'm going to talk about some of the history of Bitcoin and how we can see these rapid upwards movements in the price, and why you shouldn't be taken, first of all, by surprise, but also not assume that the downward trend or the bear market is over. So first of all, this is the short-term view. Here is the bottom around 3,500, so 3,463. And we have been making our slow move upwards here up towards the 4,700 level and ultimately maybe 5,000. And right now it's very difficult to have any idea where we are going. I really can't see any direction in this. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a large movement upwards. We can see a movement upwards of 40 to 50%, or I mean, in the history we've seen over 100%. So it's really difficult to tackle these quick upward rebounds that we can see in these bear markets. And I want to urge you to be careful, because it's very easy to say that, oh, now the bear market's over, we've had a rebound of 40%, when that is simply not true. Just to finish off this one here before we go back to the long-term one, if we continue to make these lower bottoms, I would like to see one more wave down towards 3,400, 3,500, and ultimately make it higher than these bottoms here. So maybe a move down towards 3,700, and then I would like to see us move higher. But we'll see if that plays out, or maybe we're just going straight up. What I wanted to say was that when we had these huge price falls here, we have also these huge rebounds upwards, where a lot of people said, oh, we're back over this moving average here, 200-day moving average. It's all upwards from here. If you only saw this part of the graph, you maybe would say that, oh, this was just a fake breakdown here, and now it's onwards to new highs. And I can see why people say that, because if you look at this, movement here, you see it's 100% movement. We went from 5,800 to around 11,700. That is a huge move. It's 100% move. But we cannot be fooled by that because of this downward trend that we saw. And the same thing is true for these movements here. The next rebound we had here was lower, because that is what characterizes a bear market really. We make lower and lower highs. This was a 55% rebound. And then what did we have here? We had 46% rebound. So don't be surprised if we from here Let's draw the same thing here. If we go up to this box here, we have around a 40% rebound. That would not be surprising. We could even, of course, make our way even higher. So we could make our way up here, and that would be a 60% rebound. That would be totally within the history of Bitcoin. And then we would probably see lower prices once again. So that was what I wanted to warn you guys about. I'm still very interested in these low volume nodes. We see that we had a draw towards this low volume node here, and I also we have another low volume node down here, which is very low volume as well, and it correlates very well to the bottom that we see here. So that's why I find this area here very interesting, but maybe it looks like that might take a while until we get there. But in the meantime, just look at the price action and be careful out there. Have a great week, guys. I will see you in next week's analysis.